Hi, this is Suzanne Rosenhammer from RVA. You are listening to Dr. Bob Nolly on the Labrador Leadership Podcast.
Sweet.
Live from the RVA, this is the Labrador Leadership Podcast with Dr. Bob Nolly. The program that brings you the leadership skills that can make you the most authentic, approachable leader for the sake of your business, your team, and for you. Now, here's Bob.
Hey, you found your way back, and I'm so glad you did. Hey, it's Dr. Bob Nolly, the Labrador Leadership Podcast. How are you? Me too. Got a seat? All right, let's behave today. We have company, and this has been a great segment. This has been a great series, The Coolest Women You Need to Know in the RVA. Today, we have a young lady that is really knocking the socks off of everybody out in the Scotts Addition area. Molly Snider's with us today. Molly, how are you?
I'm doing well, Bob. How are you?
Okie dokie. We're going to get to the point where we talk about Scotts Addition, what's going on there. But you're with one of the premier properties in the area as a leasing rep there. Where are you? And tell me about the property.
So I work for Steelhead Management, and currently I'm working for the Preserve at Scotts Addition. You can find us right across the street from the Vale Brewery and right down from Vozen and Stella's. And really, our property is known for the two buildings that we have. We have the Found side and the Made side. The Found side being the historic Coca-Cola bottling plant.
Wow, the Coke plant.
Yeah, it's really cool. I actually live in that side, and we kept some of the original details, like the original smokestack and the 20-foot ceilings and exposed ductwork, so you have that industrial feel. And then we also have our Made side that we built from the ground up in 2015.
So that's all new construction over on that side?
Yes, that would be more your typical modern apartment that you would see.
That's great. Now, if I can be so bold, that's really a high-end property that you're working on, that you're in charge of there. So why, what makes that kind of property, that level, so attractive these days? Because you all are just about rented out for the most part.
We are. And really, what I think makes the Class A properties worth a little bit more of that coin would be not only the amenities. So we have things like the pool, the rooftop deck, the clubhouse, but it's also like the personal touch that you get. So we do weekly resident events, and they're not just like, come grab a donut. It's like, come do a bar crawl through Scotts Addition with us.
Oh, that's a project. Yeah, I'm on. Sign me up.
Right. So we do things like that every week. And then it's also the personal touches of when you get a package, I'm going to sign for it. I'm going to send you a text message, and you can then tell me to deliver it to your door if you want. So it's really just about catering to that lifestyle, that treat yourself lifestyle.
So you guys are leaning on the customer service button as much as you can in a rental environment and that kind of relationship to kind of improve the quality of the relationship you have with each of your lessees. Is that right?
That is 100% correct. Our main goal is to make it as easy as possible for our residents, as well as we try to be as transparent as possible with our residents.
Transparent like how? What does that mean?
So we're also in the business of trying to help our residents out. So if you come to me and you tell me that you're buying a house, I'm going to give you your best options. I'm going to let you know that if you turn in your keys early, I'm going to try to rent it out so that you're not rent responsible for that whole 60 days. We're not going to sugarcoat it for you with fees, but we're also going to do everything we can to make it as easy as possible for you.
Well, it's all working for you there because, as I mentioned, your rent out rate is really high, and you have a very expansive differential in the clientele you have. You have a lot of young people in there, and you have some senior folks there too, right?
We do. We have a good mix over there. Really and truly, you'll see a lot in Scotts Addition in general. There's a little bit of everything going on, and it's really a special place in town.
That's cool. Let's talk about the downside for a minute. I'm sure with the environment you've created and the quality of the property and the community you've tried to establish, that there's a downside to it. So what's a headache you have? What's a headache you have there in dealing with that whole environment on any given occasion?
To be honest, there's not a whole lot of downsides. The main one would just be, for me personally, getting a little tired, and that's just from the working super long hours to make sure that everything is perfect. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, as is my property manager, so we tend to pull the long hours to make sure every detail is perfect, and that can be a little bit tiring.
Sure, fatigue's an issue, but the upside on the customer service that delivers something to be said. How about the rest of the crew there? What does the crew at the Preserve look like in addition to you and the property manager there? Who else is involved?
So it's myself, it's our property manager, Christina. We have a floating leasing consultant named Christine that goes between us and our other Scott's Addition property, Symbol. And then we have a maintenance manager, Dave, and a maintenance technician, Duran, and that's it at the preserve.
That's a great crew. That's a great crew. So you said you're right across the street, right across Roseneath Road in Scott's Addition from Vail. Vail is like the landmark in there, in addition to yourself, of course. And people say, well, I'm right across the street from Vail. They go, oh, I know exactly where you are. Talk a little bit about what's going on in Scott's Addition now, and why is that on the uptick in such a popular place as it is?
So Scott's Addition has been voted the #1 neighborhood in Richmond several times, and I really truly think that's just the walkability of it all. I am in walking distance to 14 breweries where I stand in my property. There are more restaurants than I can name on two hands. And truly at any given day, you'll see the whole community out in full force walking to all of these destinations. And it's just really easy. There's no need for an Uber. There's no need for your vehicle. It's just all the great things you could possibly want at your fingertips.
So you mentioned you have a rooftop deck and you do some events up there. What's the view like from the rooftop deck? What's the greatest thing you've seen so far?
Really and truly, you can see everything from the Diamond all the way past the Science Museum Dome. It's a gorgeous cityscape. And I think the best thing that you can see from up there is when the squirrels are at home and we see those fireworks, especially when there's a wind going on. There's nothing like it.
That's great. Rooftop fireworks, always a great thing there. 17 breweries, lots of restaurants in the scene down there. Now, let me ask you this. A couple of decades ago, now I'm really dating myself. This is terrible. Shockoe Slip was the place to be, and it's going through a little bit of a, not regentrification, but a refurbishing, more building and construction going on down there. What does the future hold for the Scott's Addition area, do you think?
So I think that all of them are still great places. I think it's based on like more so an age group now of where you're going to be or what your idea of a perfect day is. Shockoe Slip's still more of the like, I want to go clubbing to me, which they're definitely doing some great work down there too. And there's some great properties. But I think Scott's Addition on the horizon is going to get more of that great food and more of those breweries, as we know that food hall's opening up and Vail's moving its tasting room over there with some other breweries. So I really think we should be looking out for some more great places to eat, some more breweries, and honestly, I know for a fact a few more apartment complexes. So if you're looking for a move, come on down.
That's pretty encouraging. You know, one of my strolls through Scott's Addition, I ran into this place, and everybody, you know, in the RVA that knows it's going to go, of course, that's a great place. I ran into this place called the Tang and the Biscuit, and I didn't know what Tang and the Biscuit is. You know, it sounded like a breakfast food and the Tang drink that the astronauts took to space. Yeah, no, but it actually was a shuffleboard hall with full bar and food service, and I went in there with a group once and just had a great time. It's completely different and really popular. Have you been in there?
I have. We actually do a lot with Tang and Biscuit. We're quite friendly with them, and it's a really cool place. It's a huge space, which means you don't have the bar crowds, which is not something that I look forward to. And not only do they have shuffleboard, they have like giant Jenga, they have cornhole, all sorts of things, and their drinks are super yummy too.
And it's packed on any given night. That's really something. All right, let's get to the personal side here a little bit. If you've obviously created a great personal success for you here in this assignment, and we all wish you the best here. But if other young ladies in the RVA are looking for the next step in their career, would you recommend the rental business to get into, or what is the piece of advice you'd like to give to them?
So I've worked in sales, this will date me a little bit, I'm sure, for almost a decade now. And honestly, it was a big step for me to move from recruiting into leasing. Just from a financial point of view, it's not as much money you think. But I would say go for it. If you can get in with a good company, which I certainly have, Steelhead Management is amazing. You can really make your own and make money. And honestly, I'm living my dream, so I wouldn't change a thing.
Well, that's about the highest recommendation you can get. All right, a little bit more. What's the last piece of music you listened to on your phone?
I listened to NSYNC Girlfriend on the way here. So I listen to Bluetooth through my car. So we'll just pretend like I said something much cooler than that.
That's all right. It caught you off guard. That's good. What's the last book you read that you absolutely loved?
So the last book I read was The Martian for book club at the Preserve. However, the last book that I read that I loved was also for book club, and it was The Woman in the Window.
The Woman in the Window is a great book. That's a great thriller. Good recommendations there. Well, we've given a shout out to the Preserve and given a shout out to Tang and Biscuit and Vale and anybody else there. If people want to find you and reach out to you, I'm sure you're in the social stratosphere somewhere. Where can people find you?
So you can easily find me on Facebook, which it's Molly Snider, and Snider is with an I, not a Y, like the pretzels. So sorry about that. And then you can also honestly email me at Molly@Steelhead, STEELHEAD, managementspelledout.com. I'd love to hear from you.
That's great. Molly, can't thank you enough for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to episode 99 of the Labrador Leadership Podcast. Many thanks to Molly for being here. Here's the deal. Take care of each other. Keep moving forward. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Labrador Leadership Podcast. For the sake of all the special people in your life that deserve you to be the best leader you can be. Connect with us on our website at LabradorLeadership.com, on Facebook at Labrador Leadership, and on Twitter at Lab Leadership. Now, here's a final thought from Bob.
Once again, many thanks to Molly Snider for jumping on today and telling us about life in Scott's Addition and at the Preserve and all that's going on down in that area. Sounds like a lot of fun. You folks, it's time to pay the bill. Please come to LabradorLeadership.com, click the subscribe button, and I'll send you the leadership secret. Take care of each other. See you next time.